the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess Resort in the heart of the Sonoran Desert. And tonight's semifinal action, unseeded Juan Carlos Ferrero, the brilliant youngster out of Spain, taking on the number 6 seed, Lleyton Hewitt from Australia. Good evening, everybody. Barry McKay along with my colleague Leif Shiras, ready for semifinal action. And Leif, tonight we have two very talented young players. Certainly Hewitt knows how to win tournaments. He won 2 already in Australia earlier this year. What do you think? I think he's got the bit of an edge in experience.
Well, he does. He's already 4 tournament titles under his belt. He's only 19 years old. And Juan Carlos Ferrero, into his first season really full-time. He won his first title last year. But this is a matchup of 2 young, very talented, very quick players.
And a very strong field of players assembled here earlier this year. Certainly, let's have a look now at the draw from the second round.
We look at the bottom half. Pete Sampras had to withdraw with a back problem against Alex Correia. Correia ended up losing to Costa, and Tim Henman took out Costa in the semifinal. He awaits the winner of this match in the final. You can see Henman took out Lepenti and Byron Black. So Tim Henman, playing some great tennis, awaits in the final.
And in the upper half, the number 1 seed, Andre Agassi, ran into trouble.
Well, he played a great opening round match, but really struggled against Francisco Clavet. Clavet took him out in straight sets, a disappointing loss for Agassi. Ferrero ends up taking out his countryman, and here he is in the semifinal against Hewitt. Hewitt took out Marcelo Rios, and disappointingly, Rios also had to pull out with cramps.
Well, speaking of that Rios-Hewitt match, it was a quarterfinal. Here is Lleyton Hewitt just last night against Marcelo Rios. Rios started to have trouble in the near court with cramps.
Well, this was a great match. These guys really brought out some tremendous tennis. Hewitt was up to the task, winning the first set in the tiebreaker, and then as they got into the second set, Alex Stauber, the ATP Tour trainer, came out and gave Rios some help. He was having trouble with cramps, and in the second set, things only got worse for Rios as Hewitt really continued to put the pressure on.
And so there it was. Rios says, no mas, I cannot continue. And so after a set and a half, Rios has to drop out, and Lleyton Hewitt moves along. But Leif, tonight we're going to see Juan Carlos Ferrero. This kid can really play. He's already had some big wins.
Well, his countrymen refer to him as the mosquito because he moves around the court so quickly. He's going to use that speed to play his big forehand, which is his best shot. He's a little bit taller than Hewitt. He may gain some advantage off the serve, but again, 2 very quick players going at it, and 2 very young players trying to establish their credentials.
That is our matchup. Lleyton Hewitt taking on Juan Carlos Ferrero. The ATP Tour on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at mbusa.com. By AccuView 2, the contact lens reinvented. By US West, get US West custom choice today. US West, life's better here. By Heineken, it's all about the beer, Heineken. And by Franklin Templeton Investments, serving investors for over 50 years. Our gracious host for the Franklin Templeton Tennis Classic, the spectacular Fairmont Scottsdale Princess, has once again warmly welcomed us to one of the most luxurious resorts in the world. This ultimate desert oasis, a 5-diamond resort, is indeed an elegant retreat, offering the amenities, world-class service, and warm hospitality that have made the Princess a legendary romantic destination. Treat your family to a special relaxing time, or treat yourself to a myriad of sporting opportunities, from the state-of-the-art spa and fitness center, 3 swimming pools, 7 tennis courts, or the championship TPC Stadium course, home of the Phoenix Open. The newly expanded Casadora's Bar is just one of several award-winning restaurants that grace the grounds of this shining jewel of the Sonoran Desert, the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess. And what a fantastic place it is. We are really glad to be here. The Franklin Templeton Tennis Classic semifinal action. And a perfect night for tennis as Lleyton Hewitt takes some last-minute warm-up serves, Leif, and this kid has really burst on the scene.
Well, you can see he's not very tall, but I tell you, this guy plays a big game. Perhaps the most determined competitor out there. Very young at 19, but look at the record this year, 18-1. I mean, that's remarkable how well he has played.
His only loss at the Australian Championship. He won those 2 events down in Australia, was the #1 player on the new leaderboard. A look at his week here.
He has not come through easily, taking on Daniel Wacek in the opening round. Chris Woodruff, the American Davis Cup hero, 6-3 in the third. And then, of course, Marcelo Rios, 7-6, 4-2, dominating. And certainly he will have his hands full, though. It's the first time these young guys have met. Juan Carlos Ferrero.
They will meet some more. Here is his opponent tonight, Juan Carlos Ferrero out of Spain.
Only 20 years old, his second year on the tour out of Villena, Spain. But certainly making a name for himself, winning a title last year in Mallorca, but starting this year off beautifully, 11-4, and he's 21 on the ATP Tour Race 2000. And the big difference for him has been his ability to win on hard courts. He's come through this year. He was a finalist in Dubai, and that is a good start for him. Took out some heavyweights, two-time U.S. Open champion Patrick Rafter, French Open champion Carlos Moya, and his countryman Francisco Clavet, which was a three-setter. So he has played some big-time tennis here, but he's got another big-time challenge here today against Hewitt.
Excitement in the air as we look at Norm Christ, one of the veteran umpires. He is ready to go back to his hometown of Scottsdale. Leighton Hewitt steps up to the baseline. We're ready to go here. Best of 3 sets, semifinal action. The winner moves into the championship tomorrow. Hewitt to serve. First game of any match leaf, always very nerve-wracking, especially for the server.
Yeah, obviously you want to try and simplify things, get that first serve in, establish what you do best out there on the court.
Down the center, it's wide, 115 miles per hour. Hewitt can open up on that first serve. Love 15.
I think a lot of people compare Leighton Hewitt to something like a Michael Chang, a feisty grinder, but I think he's added a little more pop this year. I think that's why he's having the results he has had. He's able to flatten it out and gain the advantage in the point instead of just rallying.
Short ball, the two-hander hits the net. We saw Leighton Hewitt play some brilliant tennis there in Boston last summer, representing his country, Australia, when the Aussies nipped the United States. Let first serve.
His most impressive performance in the Davis Cup might have come against Russia in Australia on grass. He took out both Kafelnikov and Safin. And those were some tremendous wins that carried the team through.
Ferrero going for it all up that line off the two-hander. No call, service ace right up the center. His first of the match. Another big serve. And so Leighton Hewitt holds in the first game of the first set. Some very impressive serving by the young Australian.
When we take a look at these youngsters and how well they're doing, you can see Hewitt has a little more experience, 4 titles. But Ferrero, look at what a great start he is off to. Remember, only his second year as a pro. Look at the establishing a winning record at 20 years old. These guys are the future of tennis, and it's great to see such dynamic young players like this doing so well.
Second game, first set. Now we'll have a look at the Juan Carlos Ferrero serve. He's got some height. Love 15. Played that final over in Dubai against Nicholas Kiefer of Germany. Lost that one to Kiefer, but gave it a good go.
Well, he won the first set in that match. Would have been a big breakthrough for him to start off the year, but Kiefer has played tremendous tennis this year.
Hewitt going.
Well, that serve got into Hewitt's body. And you can see the look of intensity in his eyes. He is one of the more focused guys out there.
He's a competitor, Leighton Hewitt. Look at this. Gets way over in a crouch. No.
Well, he misfires on the forehand, but he's going to try and use that shot as much as possible. That's his biggest and best shot. So Ferrero's not going to mind making a few errors on it. He's going to keep pounding away on that side.
Hewitt down about as low as you can get. Watch this return of serve crouch. He is way over, very close to that cord. That cord will go long.
Well, the air is pretty thin here, Barry, and that's a good example of how if you don't really finish your shot, you know, if you're sort of halfway it, that ball's going to fly a little bit in this mountainous air up here. So you really have to be getting through your shot, finishing it off. There's the big forehand, Barry.
Wow, that's a huge shot off that forehand side from Juan Carlos. Now 40-30.
Again, great preparation. Look at the Western grip, and he really throws the racket through, torques off the back leg, throws his body and shoulder through it. Tremendous uncoiling on that forehand.
Deep shot. Look out. Oh, yes. And the ball stays in. Hewitt misfires on a short ball, and Ferrero very quickly with the return. Let's have a look now at the ATP Champions race, a new idea here on the ATP Tour.
Of ranking the guys. These points have been accumulated since January 1st, and here's Leighton Hewitt in a good position at this point of the year. Andre Agassi and Yevgeny Kafelnikov, champion and runner-up at the Australian. Of course, those positions will change. Agassi won a round here, so he actually earned 3 points on the Tour Champions race, so he'll nose ahead of Kafelnikov in next week's rankings. It's a great way for the common fan to see how the guys are doing year to date. Leighton Hewitt is not a tall guy, but I'd say he's got a very effective serve. He starts in a nice rocking motion back, but again, he brings his weight forward and up. He really explodes to the ball. Again, look at how he uses his legs and gets up at the ball. So he's got a pretty good motion.
It's a great angle there. You can see how far in front he throws that ball, forcing himself to move his weight into it.
You know, John Newcomb had that rocking motion back and then forward and up.
Newcomb, the Davis Cup captain these days, I'm sure has imparted some of his expertise to this young Australian. 15 love, 1 game all. When you think about it, Hewitt's record 18-1. The only match he has lost was to Magnus Norman in the 4th round of the Australian Open. He has had a fantastic year. Will go wide. Ferrero going for it all off that forehand side. 30 love.
I don't know if you remember that match against Alex Corretja at the Australian Open. He beat Corretja 6-0, 6-0, 6-1. I mean that was remarkable. I mean, if you could beat Corretja 0-0-1, that's pretty impressive.
Hewitt continuing to fire that flat serve, 114 miles per hour, 40 love. No, that goes wide. And so Leighton Hewitt holds 2-1. Hewitt, first set.
And I'll tell you, one of the many tennis fans here, Connie Hawkins, the NBA Hall of Famer. I guess he was one of the first guys to hold onto that ball with one hand and do some magic. I think he was the original Dr. J. Connie Hawkins, what a great player.
To see him hit some tennis balls, he'd probably be very tough.
Tremendous tennis fan. He's out here every year. In fact, we've had him out here the last couple of years.
2-1 Hewitt, first set here. This is best of 3. The winner to the championship. We'll have that for you tomorrow. Already out there in the finals, waiting to see who wins. Tim Henman out of Great Britain. Ferrero with that sort of a slap forehand leaf has to have perfect timing from that right side.
Well, he generates so much spin on the ball that he can really uncoil on it and go for it with all his might, because that spin is going to make it go in every time. It's the same weaponry that Andre Agassi possesses, the ability to hit hard consistently. And that seems like all the great players nowadays have that ability.
No. First double fault of the night for Ferrero, and a bad time for it. Puts him down 15-30.
There's Antonio Martinez, Juan Carlos Ferrero's coach. Certainly concerned early on here, I'm sure.
Didn't like that last double, I'm sure of that. No call, right on the sideline. And that's the one thing that you do as Leighton Hewitt moves around, leaves a lot of room up that line.
Again, Ferrero waits on this backhand beautifully. Seizes the opportunity. There's some space down there, but he plays it pretty close to the line.
Ooh. Will go wide.
Well, a good example of what Ferrero is going to do out here. He's going to pound the ball across court and really force Hewitt out of the court. It really puts pressure on you when you're stretched out that far outside of the court. You start feeling a bit insecure about the space you leave on your forehand side.
Ferrero's got an interesting motion leaf on that serve. He takes the racket just virtually straight up, a little bit like Patrick Rafter. Right there. No. Hewitt putting some pressure early here now on the young Spaniard. No, again he goes for it all off the forehand. Just a little impatience there, and now Leighton Hewitt with a chance to break.
Well, it's a good example of how quick Hewitt can cover those shots. There's a good reason why Ferrero has struggled here early on his serve. 8 unforced.
Just wide. He goes for it down the line. And Leighton Hewitt has broken early. 3-1. Well, some very talented players, Leaf, around this world who are under 20 years old. We're going to have a look at them right here.
The 20 and under club. Leighton Hewitt, Roger Federer out of Switzerland, Andreas Vinciguerra, the Swede. I mean, there's so many great young players. Cello won his first tour title this year. Ferrero broke through last year.
First time I saw that name, Andreas Vinciguerra, I figured there's another Spaniard, but not so. Swedish player. Who knows? Maybe another Bjorn Borg. Suddenly the forehand from Ferrero letting him down badly now.
Well, you can see Hewitt just doesn't give you anything. I mean, he just doesn't make many on force, and you can see he's going to jog over to his bag, and I think what he wants to do is put something in between his strings. I think he's got some strings wearing down, and that's exactly what he's doing. There's a look at it, a little plastic device that gets inserted between the strings to reduce the friction. Get a little more life out of the strings. Here's a good look at Darren Cahill, Leighton Hewitt's coach, and Darren was a tremendous tour player himself, winning 2 titles when he was on the tour, including Barry.
Yeah, he played very well in San Francisco one year, won that tournament over Brad Gilbert, reached the semifinals of the U.S. Open. Boy, he could really play. Great serve and volleyer.
Great athlete, yeah.
He jams Ferrero there. A good second serve from Hewitt.
I'll tell you, this is just how Hewitt wanted to start out the match. Get a break early, put the pressure on a young challenger like this, and see how he responds. Because remember, Hewitt was a finalist here last year. He lost to Jan Michael Gamble, so he's accustomed to the altitude, accustomed to playing in these later rounds.
No. Let and a fault.
Barry, is remarkable to think that Jan Michael Gamble won the tournament last year and then was unable to get entry into this event. The cutoff was very high, meaning a lot of top-ranked players played it. Jan Michael Gamble's ranking fell outside that cutoff, so he was unable to defend his title.
That is amazing. That shows you how strong this field really has been all week long.
Yeah, it was one of the strongest fields we've had so far this year.
Now there is a big forehand leap. A lot of power behind that shot.
Here's a look at Ferrero at the baseline. He's not afraid to hit the ball. You can see he really drives the backhand, but this is his bread and butter. Notice how he really uncoils. He gets that whole body through on that hit, throws the racket through the hit, but again, with spin to make the ball go in.
Yes. Hewitt with a lot of respect for those ground strokes. I thought he had a good opportunity there, Leaf, to come in behind that short ball. Elected to stay back. Still chances here. 30-40. Break point for Ferrero. Do not believe that shot on the full run. Juan Carlos Ferrero breaks back. You're looking at John Williams, the VP and general manager of this fantastic resort. Just wide. Another look at John Williams, and I'll tell you something, every year we come here it is better and better, and this man certainly has had a lot to do with that. One of the finest resorts anywhere in the world. There's the guy that makes it happen. Semifinal action now. 3-2 Hewitt. Off 15. Hewitt's got to be a little bit nervous after that tremendous passing shot by Ferrero. Lee.
Yeah, that might be the last time he comes in. I mean, that was just came in on a pretty good shot.
Yeah. Again, the arrow off that forehand. Ferrero trying to do a little bit too much too soon. 15-30.
He seems to be making the mistake on the down the line. You know, he's trying to jump out to an advantage in the point. He's made a couple errors.
Longest rally in the match right here. An easy put away for Hewitt. And now Leighton Hewitt with double break point. 15-40.
One of the best returners on the tour. You just cannot relax on your serve against this young guy. Hewitt is tough off the return.
And one of the reasons, look at that stance from Hewitt. He really gets down to the ball on that return serve. Oh, and a bit of a break for the Spaniard. Just catches the net and drops over.
Well, he's going to have a chance to move forward. And this volley, it looks like he takes a pretty big swing at it.
Actually came down on that ball a little quick, and he knew it. So Ferrero saves one break point. Just over the service line. Second serve.
That ready position reminds me a little bit of Jimmy Connors.
Yeah.
Remember how Jimmy used to bend over as well and really get down on that ball. You can see his racket's nice and low. Well, that's a great return there.
Huge shot from Leighton Hewitt. And so Hewitt breaks 4-2, first set. Beautiful night here in the Sonoran Desert. We're at the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess Resort, and Leighton Hewitt has the early break in the first set, serving at 4-2.
And you can just see how tough Hewitt is. You know, he's up a break, breaks right back. And that's a sign of a good player. He raised his level of play at the right time, and here he is now building. I tell you, it has a lot to do with what this guy's doing. Darren Cahill telling him good things.
Both men out of Adelaide, Australia, that South Australian town where they have a fantastic tournament every year. Will go wide.
Ferrero tries to open up the court. I tell you, it takes a very quick, exceptionally fast player to get out there and make that angle, and Hewitt is one of the guys who can do it. He's not even breathing hard, Barry, after chasing down those shots.
Well, we saw him say some brilliant tennis there in Boston last summer when the Aussies took on the Americans. Very, very hot weather, humid, and he got through it without any trouble. Just catches the tape. The Ferrero forehand, and now Leighton Hewitt 1 point away from a 5-2 lead. With all the great Spaniards who have come along in the last 10 years, Leif, the Spanish people must be very excited about this youngster, Juan Carlos. Hewitt going for it all with a 40-love lead. Tries the ace on the second serve, serves his second double of the night. I like that play, Leif. You get up 40-love, you've got a break. Why not go for a big second serve?
Yeah, try and get a quick, easy point.
Yeah.
And I can assure you, he will not make the same mistake here.
Oh, good safe second serve. That will go long, and And so Leighton Hewitt looks over as he crosses over. When we return, Juan Carlos Ferrero serves to stay alive in the first set. Franklin Templeton Tennis Classic semifinal action, and now Leighton Hewitt on the far side. Big opportunity here. He has played some brilliant tennis to reach a 5-2 lead. Yes, wide open court. The two-hander down the line. You have to wonder if Tim Henman, already in the finals, is watching this match tonight.
Well, again, Hewitt cannot afford to hit it too short. I mean, that is just a little bit too much time and too much space. Look at how he gets his grip ready. And again, he leans on that. Again, he's inside the baseline going for that shot. A good time to go for a winner.
No call. Right down the center. 108 miles per hour.
See, this guy Ferrero made an incredible jump. He turned pro in 1998. He was 345. The next year he was 43.
Oh.
I mean, he became a one-year success.
No, it floats wide.
Barry, that's one of the toughest things to do, is to make your way up the ATP Tour ranking list, because there's so many players, and you have to play a number of events to accumulate enough points.
And Juan Carlos stays alive for the first set. This guy has had a tremendous record this year. A look at percentages, Leaf.
Yeah, and he's with a pretty elite group there. Sampras, Agassi, Rios, Nicholas Lepente, and Patrick Rafter. That's a pretty exclusive group.
And that's 1999 this year, 18-1. Leighton Hewitt's record. He wins 2 tournaments in Australia to start the year. Was number 1 on that new points race. Drop shot. Fabulous shot from behind the baseline. Juan Carlos. Great deception lead.
Well, Ferrero might as well be playing on a clay court. I mean, he's got Hewitt pressed way back behind the baseline. It's a smart play. When you can push a guy back as far as he does, it opens up the front of the court again. Watch how he just opens up the racket face, plays a nice little drop.
That is great imagination in a shot like that. 15 all. Hewitt trying to close this first set out.
Hewitt has a look in his eye like, you know, you just stole his milk at lunch. You know, he's not happy about it.
He is intense.
Well, Hewitt doing some hard work over there. And, you know, his balls land pretty short in the court, but, you know, it doesn't bother him because he moves so quick to cover them.
One of the quickest guys in the game. Hewitt changes directions like Michael Chang from that backcourt. A beautiful night here in the Sonoran Desert. Absolutely fabulous weather. Just wide. Net court. And Juan Carlos gets a break. Holds up the hand. He's not sorry. 30 all. Big points now.
Well, this is as good as a drop shot, isn't it, Barry? I mean, it just hits the top of the net. No chance for Even a fleet-footed Leighton Hewitt.
It's wide. They say the Australians come up in pairs. Maybe Hewitt and the big scud Mark Philippoussis, another great young pair coming out of Australia. No, a miss hit from the forehand. And now a big opportunity here. 30-40 break point for Juan Carlos Ferrero to get right back in this first set. No, it's wide.
He likes that one down the middle.
Yeah.
He's been going there on some big points.
No, he goes for it all. Sees the opening, just over hits it wide. It's deuce.
Well, again, he set up his best shot, the forehand. Just pulled it wide.
Drop shot. That's going to be good. Sensational lob from Juan Carlos Ferrero. Set up with a drop shot lead. Great timing.
Brilliant, brilliant response. Hewitt makes a great play here. This is a pretty good ball, deep. Look at the racket work there. The half volley lob, beautifully placed. These guys are battling.
Big point here. Chance for Ferrero to get right back in it. It's good. Again, Hewitt when he needs it. A very deep ball.
Well, he turned up the volume just a notch on the ground strokes there. A little more oomph on that forehand. Flattened it out. The ball went through the court.
Hewitt taking a little extra time. Looks like he's a bit winded after that long rally. Ooh, no call, but called a fault. A little delay. A few whistles. Norm Christ in the chair will not overrule. No, a miss hit from the two-hander. And once again, Ferrero with a chance. Now Ferrero, Leaf heading over to the chair, grabs a towel. It's not that humid, but I'm sure after this amount of tennis, these guys are both very moist. Break point. It's over the baseline, and Juan Carlos Ferrero from Spain has broken. 5-4. Leighton Hewitt now leading in the first set. We're at the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess Resort. Fantastic destination resort here in the desert. the TPC course right next door to the hotel, and site of the annual Phoenix Open, one of the great spas anywhere. Now Juan Carlos Ferrero trying to get right back in this first set, serving down 4-5. From the forehand, and Ferrero now actually outsteadying Leighton Hewitt.
Well, Hewitt just plays the ball cross court. Yet Ferrero, when he's comfortable, he really tees up that cross court shot and takes it down the line and changes things up. I think Hewitt has to maybe take a couple of chances, you know, go for a little bit more off the ground instead of just putting the ball back into play.
What's great about watching these two youngsters play, Leaf, as you know, as this year moves along, we're going to hear a lot more about both of these players.
Yeah, these guys are, you know, developing some real credentials. I mean, these guys are some of the future stars.
That is just, oh, wow. Looked like a winner from where we sit, and Juan Carlos thought so too. Let's listen. Wow, a tough call for Norm Christ.
15.
Called out by the lines person, and he is not going to overrule. Wow, that looked good from up here. 15 all, a tough break for Ferrero. Would have put him up 30-love. Goes long.
See, that time Hewitt beat him to the punch. He played a good ball down the line deep. He changed the rhythm of the point a bit.
We'll see how Ferrero handles that tough call he just got. Down 15-30. No. Good, deep, big, high spinning second serve, 30 all.
I think Ferrero's calmed down pretty much. I'm sure Hewitt is steaming inside, knowing that he has served for this first set, and here he is now struggling. But he's trying to get it together.
Let first serve. No net court judge out there. They're using an automatic net caller on top. It's an electronic device. No. Ferrero goes for it all down the line, and a bad decision, Leaf. Now
that looked a little nervous. You know, he went a little bit too much for that one. Missed it badly wide.
With the intensity on Leighton Hewitt. He knows he's got a chance right here. Set point. No, he goes for it all. It is wide, and so Leighton Hewitt has come back. Broken serve. Semi-final action, the Franklin action, and now Leighton Hewitt on the far side. Big opportunity here. He has played some brilliant tennis to reach a 5-2 lead. Yes, wide open court. The two-hander down the line. You have to wonder if Tim Henman, already in the finals, is watching this match tonight.
Well, again, Hewitt cannot afford to hit it too short. I mean, that is just a little bit too much time and too much space. Look at how he gets his grip ready. And again, he leans on that. Again, he's inside the baseline going for that shot. A good time to go for a winner.
No call, right down the center. 108 miles per hour.
So this guy Ferrero made an incredible jump. He turned pro in 1998. He was 345. The next year he was 43.
Oh.
I mean, he became a one-year success.
No, it floats wide.
Barry, that's one of the toughest things to do, is to make your way up the ATP Tour ranking list, because there's so many players, and you have to play a number of events to accumulate enough points.
And Juan Carlos stays alive for the first set. This guy has had a tremendous record this year. A look at percentages, Lee.
Yeah, and he's with a pretty elite group there. Sampras, Agassi, Rios, Nicholas Lepente, and Patrick Rafter. That's a pretty exclusive group.
And that's 1999 this year, 18-1. Leighton Hewitt's record. He wins 2 tournaments in Australia to start the year. Was number 1 on that new points race. Drop shot. Fabulous shot from behind the baseline. Juan Carlos. Great deception lead.
Well, Ferrero might as well be playing on a clay court. I mean, he's got Hewitt pressed way back behind the baseline. It's a smart play. When you can push a guy back as far as he does, it opens up the front of the court again. Watch how he just opens up the racket face, plays a nice little drop.
That is great imagination in a shot like that. 15 all. Hewitt trying to close this first set out.
Hewitt has a look in his eye like, you know, you just stole his milk at lunch. You know, he's not happy about it.
He is intense.
Hewitt doing some hard work over there. And, you know, his balls land pretty short in the court, but, you know, it doesn't bother him because he moves so quick to cover them.
One of the quickest guys in the game, Hewitt. Changes directions like Michael Chang from that backcourt. A beautiful night here in the Sonoran Desert. Absolutely fabulous weather. Just wide. Net court. And Juan Carlos gets a break. Holds up the hand. He's not sorry. 30 all. Big points now.
Well, this is as good as a drop shot, isn't it, Barry? I mean, it just hits the top of the net. No chance for even a fleet-footed Leighton Hewitt.
It's wide. They say the Australians come up in pairs. Maybe Hewitt and the big scud Mark Philippoussis, another great young pair coming out of Australia. No, a miss hit from the forehand. And now a big opportunity here. 30-40 break point for Juan Carlos Ferrero to get right back in this first set.
He likes that one down the middle.
Yeah.
He's been going there on some big points.
No, he goes for it all. Sees the opening, just overhits it wide. It's deuce.
Well, again, he set up his best shot, the forehand. Just pulled it wide.
Drop shot. That's going to be good. Sensational lob from Juan Carlos Ferrero. Set up with a drop shot lead. Great timing.
Brilliant, brilliant response. Hewitt makes a great play here. This is a pretty good ball, deep. Look at the racket work there. The half volley lob, beautifully placed. These guys are battling.
Big point here. Chance for Ferrero to get right back in it. It's good. Again, Hewitt when he needs it. A very deep ball.
Well, he turned up the volume just a notch on the ground strokes there. A little more oomph on that forehand. Flattened it out. The ball went through the court.
Hewitt taking a little extra time. Looks like he's a bit winded after that long rally. Ooh, no call, but called a fault. A little delay. A few whistles. Norm Christ in the chair will not overrule. No, a miss hit from the two-hander. And once again, Ferrero with a chance. Now Ferrero, Leaf heading over to the chair, grabs a towel. It's not that humid, but I'm sure after this amount of tennis, these guys are both very moist. Break point. It's over the baseline, and Juan Carlos Ferrero from Spain has broken. 5-4. Leighton Hewitt now leading in the first set. We're at the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess Resort. Fantastic destination resort here in the desert. The TPC course right next door to the hotel, and site of the annual Phoenix Open. One of the great spas anywhere. Now, Juan Carlos Ferrero trying to get right back in this first set, serving down 4-5. From the forehand, and Ferrero now actually outsteadying Leighton Hewitt.
Well, Hewitt just plays the ball cross court. Yet Ferrero, when he's comfortable, he really tees up that cross court shot and takes it down the line and changes things up. I think Hewitt has to maybe take a couple of chances, you know, go for a little bit more off the ground instead of just putting the ball back into play.
What's great about watching these two youngsters play, Leaf, is you know as this year moves along, we're going to hear a lot more about both of these players.
Yeah, these guys are, you know, developing some real credentials. I mean, these guys are some of the future stars.
That is just, oh, wow. Looked like a winner from where we sit, and Juan Carlos thought so too. Let's listen. Wow, a tough call for Norm Christ.
15.
Called out by the lines person, and he is not going to overrule. Wow, that looked good from up here. 15 all, a tough break for Ferrero. Would have put him up 30-love. Goes long.
See, that time Hewitt beat him to the punch. He played a good ball down the line deep. He changed the rhythm of the point a bit.
We'll see how Ferrero handles that tough call he just got. Down 15-30. No. Good, deep, big, high spinning second serve. 30 all.
I think Ferrero's calmed down pretty much. I'm sure Hewitt is steaming inside, knowing that he has served for this first set, and here he is now struggling. But he's trying to get it together.
Let first serve. No net court judge out there. They're using an automatic net caller on top. It's an electronic device. No. Ferrero goes for it all down the line, and a bad decision, Leaf. Now
that looked a little nervous. You know,
Yeah.
he went a little bit too much for that one. Missed it badly wide.
Look at the intensity on Leighton Hewitt. He knows he's got a chance right here. Set point. No, he goes for it all. It is wide, and so Leighton Hewitt has come back. Broken serve. Semifinal action, the Templeton Tennis Classic, as Leighton Hewitt has come back to win the first set, 6-4. Let's have a look now at our first set statistics.
Hewitt was very solid there, but look at the unforced errors from Ferrero. That was really the difference. Hewitt tried to come in a bit, but I tell you, it is tough to win points against Ferrero at the net. So these guys are going to stay in the back and battle.
Ferrero very selective about when he comes in. He's only been in one time and won the only point.
And that was on a net court volley. So
exactly.
I think it scared him having to play the ball on the fly.
We'll see how he recovers. That was a very tough game for him to lose. Hewitt with the first set, serving now. First game, second set. Catches him going the wrong way. Inside out forehand.
Nice start for Leighton Hewitt here, and he's going to be the backbone of the Australian Davis Cup team as they continue their push again this year. They'll take on the Russians as we watch this inside out forehand. Beautifully struck. Mark Philippoussis has said he was not playing, so it'll probably be Leighton Hewitt and Wayne Arthurs taking on the Russians, excuse me, the Germans on grass.
What about Patrick Rafter?
I don't know if his shoulder is going to be ready.
Carlos Ferrero off that forehand side.
30-50.
Well, you can see the guns this guy possesses. He's just made too many errors. But I tell you, when he does it right, you can see he sets it up with this off forehand. And then boom, right down the line. That one had smoke on it.
Oh, it's a big. That is some kind of a forehand. That's the kind of shot he wanted on that set point. Got away from him, but.
Well, it's amazing how pressure can change how you execute your play. 4-5, he just played a poor game, some unforced errors.
Just wide. Barry McKay along with Lee Shires bringing you semifinal action from the Franklin Templeton Tennis Classic, the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess Resort. And Leighton Hewitt right here has won the first set 6-4. Right now down break point in the first game of the second set against Juan Carlos Ferrero right here from Spain. Miss hit. That will go long.
Now these are critical games here early in the second set. I'm sure Hewitt is thinking, come on, let's build on the advantage I've already developed. Cooling off a little bit here this evening, although it is very comfortable. When Sampras played his opening match, it was very cool in the evening, and he said that may have given him some of that soreness in his back, but tonight it's a nice evening.
There is one of the big forehands from Leighton Hewitt. He lines it up. Looked like he was going cross court, and then at the last moment up the line. And so now Hewitt with a chance to hold here. Don't you get the feeling Hewitt is like sort of wound up very tight?
Oh yeah, no, this guy's got an unlimited source of energy. Darren Cahill, his coach, looking on.
No.
And you know, when Hewitt makes an unforced error, I mean, you hear about it. It's a surprise when he makes an error. That's how committed he is to playing perfect tennis out here.
Bit of a delayed call on that fault. No. Boy, these guys are both hitting that ball about as solid as you can, Lee. You can hear it from up here. Hewitt now with a chance to hold and go up one love. Another miss hit, and so Hewitt holds. He leads 1-love in the second set. Well, we've been talking about the Davis Cup, and here's a look at the draw now. As we look at the world group in the top half, the USA going against the Czech Republic. That'll be in Los Angeles, Leaf. And then there's a big match, the Spain-Russia.
Well, that's going to be a great matchup. And whether Ferrero will be a part of the team or not, certainly Costa and Korecha are a consideration. Kafelnikov and Safin will certainly play for Russia, so that will be a great match.
And in the bottom half,
there's Australia down at the bottom. They took out Switzerland. They'll take on Germany, and that should be an interesting match. Nicholas Kiefer said he will not play for Germany this year. Of course, Boris Becker was disappointed. He hoped that he would be a consideration. And in the top part there, Slovak Republic taking on Brazil. So some great matches coming up in the Davis Cup. And Leighton Hewitt will be a big part of the Australian push. No doubt about that.
should the U.S. win, they would have to take on either Spain or Russia overseas. That's a real challenge for Captain McEnroe. Maybe watching tonight. Who knows? 1-love Hewitt. Second set. Hewitt with the first set, 6-4.
And that ball had some real pace on it, and that's the toughest shot to change directions on. A ball coming at you cross court with tremendous pace, and Ferrero tried to play it down the line, made the error, so he is in a serious crisis mode here now. Down love 30 on his opening serve in the second set. Well, that serve's going to help him a little bit.
Nice change up wide there on that slice out wide, and so Ferrero saves one. 15-30, still down. Drop shot again, and it works. Ferrero using that drop shot from behind the baseline lead. Great deception.
Well, we've seen him play this before, and this one is just beautifully executed. He's got Hewitt on a string. The short part of the court is open. Look at that shot. That ball doesn't land 2 feet from the net and a foot from the sideline.
And he moves his grip around as he's getting ready to hit that shot.
Yeah, he gets it out of that Western grip and plays almost like an Eastern forehand grip.
Great.
That way he has a little more open racket face to play with.
That was a gutsy drop shot down 15-30.
This guy's getting better as we watch.
Yeah, it really took some
drop shot winners. Wow.
Forehand goes long, and so Ferrero down 15-30, now gets to 40-30. This kid's got a lot of instinct for the game. You just feel it from up here. He really knows when to hit the right shot.
And he would be very rough to play on a red clay tennis court, and that's where he is at his best. And he's just learning about playing on these hard courts this year. This is really where he's come into his own, is playing on this court now, because he is most comfortable on a clay court.
No, he overhits again down the line. Leighton Hewitt races over.
Another string link for his strings. You know, either they're moving too much or he senses that one of the strings is going to break.
It's a terrible feeling, isn't it, when you got a racket you really like?
You can see him adjusting.
Yeah.
After each point, those guys will go back and straighten their strings, and it's a way of checking back in mentally. refocusing at the job in hand.
High lob. Oh, and Hewitt gets a break. Ball just stops.
Oh, what a time for it. Again, this overhead hit right back down the center, and this one just clips the tape.
Ooh. Boy, he knew he was lucky on that shot. Thank you. I'll take it.
He's had a couple go against him, so I'm sure he's saying, there you go, have one of those. How's that feel?
Break point. Hewitt, second game, second set. Way too solid, and Hewitt yells out. So Lathan Hewitt has broken 2 games to love. Sensational night for tennis here. Great turnout here at the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess Resort. Semifinal action. Lathan Hewitt with the first set, up 2-love now in the second.
Well, each time Hewitt has gotten a break, he's struggled on his serve. He hasn't been able to capitalize and build. Let's see if he can change that around, because this Ferrero is not out of it by any means. He's been down before and has fought back. Just like that. When he gets down to break a serve, he seems to relax just a little bit more. Goes for his shots beautifully. Look at the racket preparation. And again, this shoulder turn helps create that line down the line. Look at the hands, how beautifully they are right when they hit. Nice and firm.
It's the best two-hander he's hit all night right there. Great control.
And he can flatten that out. He likes to play it with topspin. That was a good example there of when you flatten it out, you come straight through the hit.
And another one down the line off that two-hander.
15-30.
Now Juan Carlos Ferrero, 15-30, trying to get back into this second set. He's down a break. He's out dueling Hewitt from that backhand side. From the forehand. And now, big opportunity here for Ferrero. Double break point, 15-40. No call. Ferrero thought it was a fault. Looks behind the center service linesman. Norm Christ will not overrule.
Now this one is very close down the middle. The linesman clearly calling it good. Ferrero obviously feeling otherwise.
So Hewitt saves one break point. Forehand catches the tape, and so from 15-40 down now, it's deuce. Let on the first serve saves Ferrero there. Would have been an ace. First serve. comes right back with another solid serve lead, very deep.
Yeah, he's had some success going into that forehand. Ferrero doesn't have the time to take that big windup, so he just ends up punching the ball. And that time it floated out. Well, again, when Ferrero has his back up against the wall, that's when he's played his best tennis. He seems to relax and just not make those unforced errors that have got him in this situation, down a set and a break. So Hewitt could use a couple of first serves and just get out of this game. Really a struggle to try and capitalize on the breaks. That's going to help there.
Yeah, that was one of his best first serves, Leaf. When you said it, he slices it out wide, only 97 miles per hour, but well placed. And so now Hewitt with a chance to go up 3-love.
I haven't seen Hewitt go out to the backhand in this backhand court successfully. You know, he likes going over the low part of the net, but that serve for a right-hander out to the backhand court can be tougher because that's the high part of the net.
Too good. But the shot before, Leaf, very deep from Juan Carlos Ferrero. This guy can hit that ball.
Yeah, the deep drive sets up the short one right here. When you get that short reply, you have so much time, and look at that, right on the line. Great preparation. Boy, does he snap that ball through with his racket.
Again, Leighton Hewitt with a full swing.
Advantage Hewitt.
A little bit of the Andre Agassi school of serve and volley. Swinging ground stroke on the fly.
Short ball to put away. And Hewitt now leads 3-0. We're at the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess Resort. A beautiful night in the desert. Franklin Templeton Tennis Classic semifinal action, and we are watching two of the brilliant young players out here on this ATP tour. Leighton Hewitt out of Australia right here taking on the youngster from Spain, Juan Carlos Ferrero. We're going to see a lot more of these two guys before the year's over, Leaf. 3-love Hewitt. Hewitt has the first set. Hewitt with that brilliant 18-1 record here in 2000. Only loss at the Australian Open. Drop shot again. No. And again, he gets successful with that drop shot.
You can see how he disguises it, and it just happens at the last second. It's good enough to give him some time. Hewitt can't handle the volley. Well, 3 teenagers won tour titles last year. 2 of them right here. Juan Carlos Ferrero, Leighton Hewitt, and the third was Marat Safin, the Russian. So those 3 guys are potentially the most dangerous youngsters out there.
30-15. Net cord. Oh, yes. Juan Carlos again with the two-hander. Well, I can only think of one guy who used the drop shot as much as this guy, and that's Bobby Riggs right here. a fantastic player in his day, and he was the king of the drop shot. Great player, Bobby Riggs. And Juan Carlos right here is showing us how to use that drop shot tonight. 40-15, down 3-love. Oh, letting the falls. No, and finally, Ferrero gets on the ball.
I'll tell you, Barry, if Riggs was the king of the drop shot, what was this guy the king of? What was he known for most of all?
Oh, my goodness. Now, there is a fit body back at Wimbledon. I was trying to hit a slice backhand against the Rocket Rod Laver. He only passed me about 30 times that day, but I won a couple of games. Now, we had a great match that year.
What was that, a 5-setter?
5-setter, 7-5 in the final against the Rocket Rod Laver. Almost pulled it off, but not quite.
You got him in Davis Cup, though, as I remember. Right?
Later in the year.
Yeah.
Nice memory.
See, they can run, but they can't hide, Barry.
Very good.
Ooh, you got a lucky break there. That ball landed right on the baseline, and Ferrero's going to take another look at it.
Norm Christ in the chair will not overrule 15-love. Hewitt up 3-1. Way too close. Just wide. You see the lines person there at the very top of your picture, getting that angle in on the sideline. There he is. Yes, right on the sideline. I'll tell you one thing, when this kid decides to go for a shot lead, he follows through on it.
Yeah, he can crack a winner from anywhere on the court. And look at this straight line, right down the line. Well, that serve has paid big dividends for Leighton Hewitt. Ferrero has yet to get over it and drive it back cross court. He always ends up chipping it or bunting it back. And sometimes it's best to serve into a player's strength, and that's really been paying off for Hewitt. You know, particularly with a guy like Ferrero, who has such a dramatic grip change, and he takes such a big swing on the forehand. You take away that time, and he can't tee off on it.
40-15 now. Hewitt trying to get to 4-1. He already has the first set. Yes, service ace. And so Leighton Hewitt up 4-1 with his third service ace. We're watching two of the bright young stars in the game. The near court, Juan Carlos Ferrero out of Spain taking on Leighton Hewitt. The Aussie at the top of your picture. Hewitt with the first set. And up 4-1 in the second. Shot again. The executive producers of Fox Sports Net are Arthur Smith and Bill Borson. Coordinating producer is Larry Myers. Semifinal match tonight produced by Harold Heck and directed by Bruce Troy. 15 now. And a terrific crew of all kinds of experts on the grounds here with Fox Sports Net, bringing you these great pictures. Just wide. Hewitt not happy with that call. Thought the ball caught a bit of the line. I tell you, you don't see Hewitt getting too upset about line calls, though. He's pretty good about that. One of the best approach shots we've seen all night from Leighton Hewitt. Deep, penetrating shot.
Well, that's something he's doing better this year, is taking the advantage and creating some decisive approach shots. And that really won him that point, that two-hander cross court. He hit it very sharply angled. Now he's got another chance here to put some pressure on Ferrero.
Second serve opportunity, 15-30. Hewitt would love to break here and be serving for the match. Yes, Ferrero sneaks in, Leaf. Knocks off that forehand volley.
Well, it was the right play. Good forehand drive. Excuse me, the two-handed drive. Good enough. And he's not as comfortable with the net, but that's not a bad volley. A little stiff in the hand, but if you could soften the hands a little bit more and get that racket face a little more open.
Second serve. Just catches the tape and Hewitt yells out. Let first serve. And he jumps into the ball. Ferrero holds. 4 games to 2 now. Hewitt leading in the second set. Now Leighton Hewitt steps up to serve in the 7th game of the second set. Just wide. Good. Oh. It's going to be good. Just over the baseline. Barry McKay along with Lee Cyrus bringing you semifinal action from the Franklin Templeton Tennis Classic, the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess Resort in Scottsdale, Arizona. Leighton Hewitt from Australia winning the first set out here. This is Hewitt taking on Juan Carlos Ferrero from Spain right here. 4-2 Hewitt, second set. Left and a fault. No. Third double fault of the night for Hewitt.
Well, you don't see a lapse like that often from Hewitt.
Darren Cahill out of Adelaide, Australia.
He must be feeling comfortable.
He seems very relaxed out there with his
setting a break.
Coach of Leighton Hewitt. Great player in his own right several years ago. Oh, forehand slides wide. Ferrero trying to hang in. 15-30. baseline. Ferrero, brilliant forehand.
Well, he flattens this one out beautifully. Again, the cross-court shot opens up some space down the line. He just rips it, boom, right on the line. I mean, what a time for a winner like that. Gets him 2 break points now.
Hewitt saves one.
I'm sure Hewitt is thinking, let's get a first serve here and look for something short. I mean, he does not want Ferrero to break back. You can see he's had plenty of chances, just has not been able to capitalize. But look at how effective Hewitt has been when he gets his chance.
Second serve opportunity here. Biggest point of the match right here. And Ferrero goes for it all, Leaf. What do you think?
Well, he just hasn't played the big points as well as Hewitt has. And that's been the difference today.
To me, that's a bit of inexperience.
Yeah, a little bit. Hewitt is just so disciplined mentally. When it comes to the big points, he doesn't give you the unforced, or he certainly makes you work for something very hard.
So from 15-40 down now, it's deuce. Catches the tape, and so Leighton Hewitt with a chance to go up 5-2. A disappointed Juan Carlos Ferrero right there.
And Hewitt's just getting in his head. I mean, Hewitt is just not making many errors on the key tough points. And it's getting to Ferrero now.
And again, Hewitt holds and shouts out. They will change sides. 5 games to 2. Ball kids having a great night tonight out there. They are having a ball. They got the programs up saying, hey, we're sold out, folks.
We said when he's going down the list of guys going, he's out, he's out, he's out.
Great group of kids. They do a marvelous job here every year. 5-2 now. Hewitt trying to close this match out in straight sets. Nice deep forehand, 15 low.
You don't beat Hewitt up the line that often, you know.
Nope.
He just covers that court so well. He plays cross court. He loves it when you play it down the line because then he can force you back cross court. And again, he's playing over the low part of the net, so it's very high percentage tennis from the young Australian.
That 5-2 lead a bit deceptive. Only 1 service break, and so if Ferrero could hold here, would force Hewitt to serve out the match. That's going to go wide and long. 15 all.
Well, that time Hewitt hit the backhand flat and with pace.
No, a double fault and a costly double fault. Puts him down 15-30, his second of the night. Going for a little too much. Just wide. Ferrero can't believe it. He thought he had the ace. Saying, what do I have to do to serve an ace out here? It's good. No, Ferrero again. 15-40. Double set point and double match point for the Australian. Down the center, solid serve from Ferrero. And he saves one match point. Still down 2-5, 30-40. Colleague Leif Shiras has headed courtside just in case this match ends. Try and get a word with the winner. Miss hit, and there it is, just over the baseline, and Leighton Hewitt, a very solid performance from the young Australian. A bit of inexperience from the young Spaniard, but a very talented player. You're going to hear more from Juan Carlos Ferrero. A big hand for the Australian, very popular here at the Fairmont Princess Resort, and so Leighton Hewitt has done it a standing ovation for both players. Leighton Hewitt a winner here in straight sets, 6-4 and 6-2. He is courtside now with Leif Shiras. Leif.
Thank you, Barry. Leighton Hewitt, that was an impressive match tonight. Again, a determined Spaniard, young like yourself. How did you pull that out? You got up a break a couple times. He broke back, and you were able to come through.
Yeah, it was tough. I got up the early break, really helped me in the first set, but then he broke back to his credit, and then, you know, I was lucky that I broke back, you know, an important time at 5-4 in the first, and, you know, it was very important that I got that first set.
Now, you're a baseliner. You're playing in the altitude here, pretty quick conditions, yet you're able to use your speed well out here.
Yeah, you know, both of us were very quick out there tonight. So, you know, there was a lot of long rallies out there, but, you know, I feel like I'm moving very well at the moment. You know, I've been moving well all year.
Well, now, Darren Cahill, your coach, was an old serve and volleyer. Does he ever say to you, come on, get up to the net a little bit more?
No, you know, that's not my game, but I'm definitely trying to work on that for sure, you know, to try and become a more all-court player.
Well, you showed it a little bit tonight. Now, last year you were in the finals. Jan Michael Gamble took you out. You've got Tim Henman tomorrow. Great opportunity. What do you think about that matchup?
Oh, it's going to be a tough match. Tim, I don't think has dropped a set all week, so you know, I'm going to go out there and play my game, and hopefully it matches up well on the day.
All right, well, best of luck to you.
Thanks, Leif.
All right, Barry, back up to you.
Once again, the final score out here, a straight set win for Leighton Hewitt, 6-4 and 6-2. A very, very impressive victory. Now, let's have a look now at the Heineken star of the match. Near court, Ferrero in the far court, Leighton Hewitt. And there it was, a huge match. The backhand down the line. And Leighton Hewitt, the star of the match. No question about that. The Heineken star of the match. And tomorrow we'll have the championship match. Check your local listings. The Franklin Templeton Classic Championship match from the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess Resort. A tremendous night for tennis here in the desert as Leighton Hewitt, the young Australian, a very impressive straight set win. He'll be taking on Tim Henman tomorrow. What a match that should be. Hewitt against Henman. Can Henman continue to come in and volley against one of the best ground strokers in the game? And so for our entire Fox Sports Net crew and for Leif Shiras, I'm Barry McKay saying so long, everybody.